Hello, we're going to do another SolidWorks CSWA practice example. This one is called a radial swing block. And basically you have these two tabs at an angle from each other. And then you have a block body which appears to be perpendicular to these tabs. Normally I like to do all independent features. So I would do maybe this tab and then this tab at an angle, and then I would do the rest of this body and the cylinder. In this case, I'm going to try doing a slightly more complex sketch because I think it's going to be a little quicker, and I don't think this geometry is too complex. I think we can comfortably create it without the headaches that normally accompany a very complicated sketch. So I'm going to create a part in millimeters and this aluminum alloy. And let me get started. So new part, get my head over here. Okay, I'm going to change the units right away so I don't forget. And I'm also going to change the material so I don't forget. So it's a right click on material, edit material, and then I look in the SolidWorks aluminum alloys, 1060 alloy. I check that the mass density, which is 2,700 kilograms per cubic meter, matches this, which is 0.0027 grams per cubic millimeter. It seems to be just a unit conversion, a few orders of magnitude. So apply, close, and now I'm going to sketch the outline on the front plane. So I'm going to align I think the origin should align to this cylinder. It seems like an obvious choice. And then I'm going to model the whole outline of this thing. So I'm going to flip back and forth between these two screens quite a bit. Okay. And I'm not going to really pay attention to the actual dimensions until I lay the first dimension down. It will scale everything. Okay, so I'll start with these two construction lines. They're slightly different lengths. So then I'm just going to sketch around the outside. Maybe I'll just make the block feature first, and then I'll sketch the little rectangular tabs. Okay, so I can see that these are not parallel, so I'm going to left click, control, left click, and make them parallel. And then I want this to be, I'm assuming this is perpendicular, so I'll make that perpendicular. And what else? All right, this is not perpendicular, but this one is vertical. So let me make sure that's vertical. It is. All right, so I think these are looking good. I'm now going to sketch these tabs. And really what I want is the end point of the center line to be the midpoint of this little rectangular tab. So I'm going to move things to make that happen. So actually I can left click, control, left click, make midpoint. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Make midpoint. Okay, so now those should stay symmetric. All right, and I'll wiggle this, make sure it is. Okay. Now I'm going to trim this excess material, these excess sketch segments. Okay, and now that looks pretty good to me, right? So now I'm going to start dimensioning. The only tricky thing is the dimension of this hole, right, is 120, and then we have this full radius on the outside of that. So what I can do is either add half of this width, right? The radius of this fillet is going to be half of that width. It's going to be 20, so I can add that to this 120, Or I can leave it be and just create another extrusion. I think I'll do that. I'll just make it 120, and then the second one I'll make whatever A is, 122.5. Then I'll add material and create a hole. All right. I like to make the models match the dimensions provided because it makes it much easier to check things. I think I said this is 122.5. Okay, and then the width of these things is B, which is 15 millimeters, and you can see B over 2, so that just means that this is centered around that center line. So what did I say? It's 15. 15, and then I can just make the lengths equal here. Oops, I'm gonna make sure I choose the right line. Equal. Okay, what else do I need? So this represents the center of the hole, and 31.75 back from the center of the hole is going to be this dimension. Okay, I need the diameter of this cylinder, which is 45 millimeters. And then there's a hole in the center. Should I do that now? Let's see what else I got. Yeah, this is not tangent, so I got to make this tangent. And I'll put the hole in the center, which I think is 19 millimeters. 19 millimeters. Dimension 19, and I think this is not all black because I didn't give an angular dimension. The angle is 50 degrees. Okay, so 50 degrees here and here. Okay, and then looks like I'm still missing something. So that would be the distance. Let's see. From here to there, which I think I had, but I removed from this drawing. So let me just pause this for a moment. Okay. So what I did, where's my face? There we go. I forgot this dimension. All right, this dimension is 35. So dimension this, 35, and everything's fully defined. And I'm going to extrude in two different features, right? Because this part sticks out further than the other part. So the main block is 40 millimeters. So if I create a feature, since it's not just a single closed loop, it's going to let me pick a contour. So 40 millimeters, and then the selected contour, I'm going to pick this. I'm going to make it mid-plane so it goes out both ways. I check OK. And then I can use that same sketch. If I expand this extrude, this boss, I can just highlight that and create another extruded boss. And this time I'm going to select this contour. I'm also going to make it mid-plane. Now it sticks out 6.35 millimeters from either end. So I can either do the math in my head, or I can tell it to offset each side 6.35 millimeters, which is going to take a little longer than just adding these up in SolidWorks. So since I am trying to do this quickly, I'm just going to add all those numbers here. Let's see, 40 plus 6.35 plus 6.35, and it'll do that math for me. And it doesn't. Let's see. Doesn't look like it's sticking out enough. I think, yeah, I typed in the wrong value for this extrusion, so this should be 40 millimeters. Pardon my mistake. Okay, that's looking more like the drawing. All right, then what I'm going to do is add the round on the end for both of these. So let's see, quick and easy. It's 120. So if I just sketch on here, I create a circle on the midpoint of there and connect it to the outside vertex, I can just create an extrusion the other way and say up to surface. Very easy. I'm going to do the same thing up here. Sketch a circle at the midpoint of this. Okay, and I'm going to create a feature that goes up opposite direction up to surface. Okay, now I have to put a hole in each of these, and I have to put these pockets in there. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I'll create a hole. I like to wake up the center. You just mouse over until you see the little center point. Then I put a hole, and those holes are 16 millimeters. Right, so dimension that. 16, it should be aligned with the center, and it is. Extruded cut through all. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here. I want to be careful if I do extruded cut through all. On this one, it might extrude through some other geometry. So 16, features, extrude cut. Like I say, up to next, and it'll stop at the next surface. I'm going to save it. And now I have to do these pockets, and I think that's it. So these pockets are, there's 3 of them. They're 9.5 millimeters away from the edges, and they have a 7.5 inch radius. This TYP means typical. It means everywhere you see a radius on that feature, it should be that same dimension. So 9.5 and 7.5. I'm going to sketch on here, and I'm going to align the view. Okay, so what I can do is like an offset. Let's see. So this is a continuation of that line, this one, this one, this one. So I'm going to highlight these edges. I'm going to convert entities. Oops. I guess I didn't highlight them all. Only just one at a time, that's fine. Okay, then I could just drag them over until they intersect with this. And I will trim the rest of the edges later. These other edges are offset 9.5 millimeters, right? So I'm going to use the offset entities. Change that dimension 9.5. I'm going to select a bunch. Oh, it doesn't like me selecting discontinuous edges, so I'm going to unselect that. It doesn't mind me selecting adjacent edges. So let me offset entities, this one and this one. And then I'll do this one. Oops. Let's see. I'm going to delete this. Just trim it. Okay. Offset entities. 9.5 all set. Okay. So now I need to trim away this extra sketches. I need to convert entities, right? Because these are going to be solid. And this one, trim again. And then let's see. This one gets funky. I've done this before. I'll show you what happens there. That one's a little tricky. So I'll convert entities, and then I'm going to trim away here and here. Okay, so now I have three. We have shaded contours. If you have this button pressed, it will automatically shade when you get closed loops. All right, so this looks good. I can create these pockets and then I can fillet it afterwards. But what I found that the size of the fillets, the radius of the fillets makes a curve that eliminates this little segment and it becomes problematic. So what I will do is I'll do all those little fillets in the sketch mode, which I don't like to do normally, but so you'll see I'll do this one, this one, this one. I'm just picking the vertices, right? But if I try to do this, it becomes problematic. So I'm gonna leave that out for a second. I forgot these two. So I'm gonna add them. Okay. Now for this one, what I did was just delete this entity. Oops. Maybe there's another way to do this. I'm gonna delete this relation if I can. And I'm gonna extend these. Let's see if I can just extend them a little bit. So sometimes what I do, I give them something to extend to. So I'll just create a line out here. And then there's got to be a better way to do this, but right. So now I can extend this one to there. I can extend this one to there, and I can trim them. And now I'm just going to make a fillet on this edge, on this corner. Okay. I have some lost references here, so I'm just going to delete them if I can. Delete. Well, maybe I'll just leave them for now. I deleted a sketch. It's angry with me, but everything is defined. So extruded cut. How deep is it? It's 9.5 millimeters. Okay. Was happy with that. And now I can mirror this. I'll just click the mirror feature. The plane to mirror on is going to be front plane, and the feature is going to be this cut. Okay, that looks pretty good. And let me see, is there anything else I need to do? I think I have all. Normally I would make a check print and I would check every dimension, but in this case, it's a multiple choice. So I'm going to see if I get one of these right on. Then I'm pretty confident that I got everything right. So evaluate mass properties, 856.43, 856.43. So that looks good to me. I'm going to call this victory and move on.